Okay. Yes. So I got a few questions about JIT and kind of working in branches and doing pull requests and these kind of things, all related to the homework. And therefore I thought I'd make a video where I just quickly, or we'll see how quickly it can be, but where I run through some of these things with you together. So hopefully it'll help you a little bit. Yes. Okay, so now I'm in the HYF-homework repository, and as always, let's do JIT status. It gives us a good overview of everything that's going on in JIT, and you should always kind of start with this, I would say. So it tells us that we are on the master branch, and it's saying that we are up to date with origin/master. That means that our local repository is in sync with the repository that we have online on JIT. I've gotten a few questions about what does origin mean. If we write JIT remote-v, we can see here that when we write origin, it's actually a shortcut for this, which is a URL. Let me just check. Yes, I am recording. Which is the URL for the GitHub repository that we have. So it's just, instead of writing GitHub, git push, https, / GitHub, blah, 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 blah. We just write origin instead. It's a lot easier. Origin. Okay. Cool. So let's add some files to the JavaScript 2 week 1. Main.js, console.log. Hello from main. Hello from JS2 week 1. Save it, and let's make a new file in the week 2. Main.js. Hello from JavaScript 2 week 2. Okay. JIT status. It tells us that we are on the branch master, and that we have some untracked files. What does it mean that they are untracked? It means that they are not added to a repository. So it says here, use JIT add to track them. When we add some files, that is also called staging, to stage them. And when we unstage them, we remove them from a branch or a commit. Yes, so we have two files here, and you should always do the same when you do homework. JIT status, let's see what files we have in our working repository. There could also be some changes you've made to some files, like these are completely new files, but there could be changes, there could be a lot of different things. But we need to figure out where should these files go. So just take them one at a time. So for example, this one, where should this file go? Well, it should go to the branch that is called JavaScript 2 week 1, because it's all the code that is relevant to JS2 week 1. This file here should go to the branch called JavaScript 2 week 2, and it's all the files that are relevant for the for week 2 of the JavaScript 2 homework. Okay, so what do we need to do? Well, there are a few things that we need to do. First, we need to create those branches. So let's say GitHub, JIT checkout -b JavaScript 2 / week 1. Okay, JavaScript 2 week 1. That looks okay. The -b means create a new branch called JavaScript 2 week 1, and when you have done that, check it out. So change the branch from, right now we're on master, and now we are going to be on this branch. Okay, JIT status. On branch JavaScript 2 week 1. That is where we want to add this file. So let's do JIT add dot Git status. Oh no, that was actually a mistake. Git add dot means add everything that we have up here. Okay, but we didn't actually want to add this file. We only wanted to add the main.js for the week 1 in this branch. But luckily GitHub is really helpful. So they say changes to be committed. Use git reset head to unstage. So let's try and do that. Git reset head, and the file that I want to unstage is this one. JavaScript. You see, when I press tab, it kind of auto completes, and that can be like really helpful for not writing out every single line. Okay, slash blah 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 blah. It's a lot easier to just write JavaScript and then press tab, and it'll autocomplete as far as it can, and then you have to write a little bit, and then you can press tab again. Okay, JavaScript 2 week 2 slash main.js. Git status, let's see. So you see now we have unstaged this file, and now we have added a new file to the JavaScript 2 week 1. This is how we want it to look. So now we can do git commit -m added home work for JS2 week 1. Okay, so we've added a file. Now we want to do the commit. We've done that now, and if we do git status, now we can see that this file is still untracked as we expect to. So now the only thing that we kind of need to do is we say git push origin, which means the URL for our GitHub repository, and then we say so now we have to write the branch that we want to push. That is this one, the JavaScript 2 week 1. Okay, we press enter. Okay, cool. So it has created a new branch for us, and if we go to the GitHub branch here, we should see that. So it says here, you recently pushed branches, JavaScript 2 week 1. Okay, cool. We're happy with that. Let's go to git status. Now we need to add this file. Okay, and we need to do that to a branch called JavaScript 2 week 2. Okay, but right now we are on this branch here. Let me just, instead of saying JavaScript 2 blah blah blah, I'll just say week 1 and week 2. So now we are on the week 1 branch. But if we do this git checkout -b, and then JavaScript JavaScript 2 week 2, then it's gonna create a new branch from this branch, and that's not what we want to do. We always want to create the branches from master. Master is kind of like our default branch. So the first thing that we should do is we should say git checkout master. Okay, now we are on master, and now I think some of you maybe saw it over here, that you see the code that we added for week 1 is completely gone now. We cannot see it here. And I think that's maybe a little weird for a lot of people who start using Git, because it's like, did I just lose the files? Like, what happened with the main.js that I added in week 1? Well, it's still there. It's just the code is added to a branch. So if we want to see the code that we had here, then we have to check out this branch again. So we do git checkout. Okay, now we should see, because we added the main.js to the week 1 branch, now we should see this reappear here when we check it out. You see? Now we see it again. Okay. So in that sense, it's saved on the branch, but only on the branch. So when we look at it from master, it's like there is nothing. Okay. So that's like a concept that you have to kind of work with a little bit to probably get a full understanding of. Okay. We still had this file that we need to add to a new branch called JavaScript 2 week 2. Git checkout -b. We want to create a new branch. JavaScript 2 week 2. Okay. Git status. Now we're on the right branch where we should add this file. Okay. And now all we need to do is we need to add it. JavaScript 2 week 2 main.js. Yes. Let's create a commit for it. Added homework for JS2 week 2. Yes. And what is the last thing we want to do? It is we want to push these changes to the GitHub URL. Otherwise, we are only going to see the changes locally, but we also want to see them on our GitHub repository. Okay. So for example, now we can see that we have 2 branches. One is called master and one is called JavaScript 2 week 1. And now we'll get a new one. Git push origin, and we have to push to the right branch, which should be this one, week 2. So let's see what it says. Yes, let's push the changes, and now we see here that we have both week 1 and we have week 2. And we can also see it if we click down in branches here. We have the week 1 and week 2. And you know, just like when we do like git checkout master, for example, that's the same as if we, for example, go to now we are on the JavaScript, so week 2 branch. So that means we should be able to see the changes in week 2 here, main.js, but we shouldn't be able to see the changes from week 1. Okay, just like here, git checkout JavaScript week 2. Okay, here we can see the main.js, but we cannot see the changes for or we can see the main.js for week 2, but we cannot see the main.js for week 1. If we want to see the changes or the files that we added to week 1, then we can just check it out. And now you see, now we see the main.js for week 1, but not the one for week 2. And it's exactly the same here. So we could, for example, go to week 1, and now we can see main.js here. Okay, cool. So, so far, so good. We add files to a branch. So that means that that branch has all the code relevant for only that branch. And when we use our homework, the code that is relevant to the different branches is just the code that is relevant for the different weeks of the homework. In real life, you would have a branch called implement new footer, for example. And all the code in that branch would be relevant to implementing a new footer and adding in the text to the footer and the styling and all of these things. Cool. So now I want to go through a little bit what it is that happens when we do a pull request and why we do a pull request. Okay, so we are now on JavaScript. We are on week 1. say I want to get the changes from week 1 into master. So as you said, master is kind of it's like our default branch. Okay, we want to get all the code that we write, we want to get that into master. That is kind of the goal, you could say. We want to get all our code from all these different branches into master, because when it's in master, it's like then it's done, it's complete, it's finished. In real world applications, what you do is everything that you have in master is the code that you can see online. So for example, with Hack Your Future DK, if I commit anything to master, that will actually put those changes to the website. And we call that the branch, the master branch, is connected to production. We don't have kind of exactly the same with the homework, but we just have that when we are done with the homework, it goes into master. Okay, so I can do this 2 ways, and you should not do it the way that I show now, but I'm just showing this to show you what happens when we do a pull request. Okay, so we can get the code from week 1 into master by either directly in JIT merging this branch, the week 1 branch, into master. Okay, or we can do that merging through a pull request, and through the pull request, that is the way that you should be doing it. Okay. So, but let me just show you how we do it. So if we check out master, okay, I cannot see the changes here from week 1. I cannot see the changes from week 2. Okay, now I do JIT merge JavaScript 2 week 1. So what do I do when I do this commit? I say to JIT all the code that was in this branch, merge it into the master branch. So hopefully when I do that, I should be able to see the main.js over here. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, now I took all the code that was connected to week 1 and merged it into master. You see, now I have it here. And if I do JIT push origin master, so push the changes locally that I have to the GitHub repository, then I should be able to, when I am on master, to see the changes from JavaScript 2 week 1. Okay, you see, now I have the main.js. That's kind of your goal, right? But when we did this, when we merged the JavaScript 2 week 1 into master, we don't want to do it directly in JIT. We want to do that through a pull request. What is the reason for that? The reason for that is that you can get feedback on the code that you wrote for that branch. Okay, if you just did it like this, we would have a hard time figuring out kind of what code was connected to what branch. Okay, it is in the different folders, but it's before we did it through pull request, it was a little bit messy giving feedback, because like, for example, if I wanted to get feedback for a specific line or something like that, I had to find that line in Slack, and it was not so nice. And this is also the way that you do it professionally, where you add changes through a pull request. Okay, and when I say you add changes through a pull request, it means that the pull request is kind of the tool that does this command for us. Okay, so we do this command through the pull request. Okay, and let me show you what that means. So we have the week 2 branch here that we haven't merged to JIT yet, right? So we still need to merge the changes that we wrote in week 2. You see there are none here, into the master branch. Okay, so let's do that through a pull request. I think you've done this before, and you can see I can click here, compare and pull request. Yes, create a pull request. Okay, so what does it say here? Ben100 wants to merge one commit into master from JavaScript 2 week 2. Okay, so you see this, want to merge one commit into master from blah blah blah. That is exactly what we did here. Okay, here we just said we wanted to merge into master all the commits that are in this branch. Okay, so see, it's actually the same that this pull request is doing. It's just maybe a little hard to understand. Okay, so and here, you know, there would be a mentor that he goes in here and he says, shouldn't this blah 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 blah, right? And then start a review. And so let's say, so we write a comment here, and then we expect you to kind of implement some changes based on the feedback that you got. And when all that has done, then we can say merge pull request. When we click this button, we do this command. Okay, so that's kind of important to understand. When we say merge pull request, we merge JavaScript 2 into master. Okay, so let's do that. Merge pull request, confirm merge. Pull request successfully merged and closed. And then I always just like to delete the branches, because otherwise you'll have a lot of like unused branches kind of laying around. So now we have master, and we have the one from the branch that we created from week 1. That doesn't really matter, but we should be able to now go into JavaScript 2 and week 2. Okay, and now we see the main.js. Well, how did this file get in here? It got in here through the pull request, where we merged the week 2 branch into master. Okay, cool. And see, we are on master, and we still see the changes here. Yes, but if I go to my GitHub here, and so I'm standing on master now. Okay, but I don't see any changes here from week 2. What is the reason for that? Well, that's because our local branch is not, we haven't gotten the newest change from our local branch to the branch on GitHub. So how can we get that change? We can do something called git pull. So git pull just gets the newest changes from the GitHub repository and merges it into master. It's like it does a fetch and a merge, but yeah, that's a little bit technical. But when you do git pull, you get the newest changes from the GitHub repository. Okay, and here online was where we did the pull request and merged the changes. And now when we have done git pull, now we have everything up to date, so that on our master branch we can see that we have the main.js here. Okay, cool. Then I had like another question from someone who was like, okay, but what if now, for example, I want to add some changes to week 1? Do I then need to make a new branch and do all of that change again? And I would say no. When you have gotten feedback and you have merged those changes in, then you don't have to create a new branch. You can just add the changes directly to master. So I could, for example, do like, oh, this is a change that I want. Git status, git add, and I'll add this file, git push, git commit, changes, git push, origin, master. So when it has been merged and you have gotten feedback, then it's a little bit up to you guys what you want to do with the repositories that has already gotten feedback. So it's okay to just add those things to master. So for example, we can see now I did the changes, and where did I do those? To week 1, so I should be able to see those now. Yeah, here we go. Yes, I think that's it. But remember, the most important part, or I don't know if it's the most important part, but it's pretty important, is that you add some code to a branch, and that the code that you added to the branch, you can only see when you're on that branch. So if you go to some other branch, then suddenly the code that you wrote for that other branch is gone. It's gonna look like it's gone, but it's just because it's connected to that branch. Okay? Yes, I think that was it. I hope that gave a bit of a clarification. Otherwise, always write me, or Marta is like super good with GitHub. You can always write her. She's very helpful. And yes, that was it. Thank you. Bye.